Hey everybody, how are you doing? Hey, sorry, I'm running really behind and all because I went down this rabbit hole of Matchfit. I want to talk about Matchfit, the clamping system tonight, and I'm on this kind of uh, clamping kick, talking about clamping systems and CNC waste boards and all of that stuff, and I bought the dovetail bit for the match fit system and all, because I'm gonna be making some workbenches and everything, and I'm like, oh, I should have incorporated that into my waste board and everything, and I want to have that discussion tonight. I want to have that talk. So, gold members, I just posted your link. Now, listen, live right now, happening right now, is a live event with Garrett Frome and Mark Lindsay. Mark Lindsay is a special guest. You know, we all know Mark and Garrett and all. If a lot of you are wanting to catch that, and stuff, we can go later, or we can go, a different time or something. I had no idea they had a live event happening right at 8 o'clock. I just saw it on YouTube. So, in the chat, let me know. I'm, they might have a good topic going on over there. Both of them are great guys. I love Mark Lindsay and all. So let me know what your thoughts are and all of that stuff. Hey, Ronnie, what's happening, buddy?
Howdy.
Hey. I was just telling everybody about Garrett Frome and Mark Lindsay are having a live event right now over on Garrett's channel, IDC Woodcraft. And if anybody wanting to catch that, and this is interfering with that, let me know. We can go later or something, because tonight I just want to talk about. I'm on this clamping kit, guys. I'm on fixtures and jigs and all kinds of stuff for the CNC, and not just the CNC, but the shop too. And I just went down I just went down a big old deep old rabbit hole on Matchfit. Hey JR, how you doing? And I bought the dovetail, kit and everything from Matchfit. Gosh, a long time ago. Not a long, like years ago, but like months ago, because I thought, man, I can make those, little dovetail T-slot, T-nuts and all that stuff for CNC clamping jigs and everything. And by a show of hands in the group, I mean, everybody knows micro jig and all that. How many of you know of the Matchfit system, know what it is, and use it in your shop? Ronnie, what about you? Do you use Matchfit?
No, I've never heard of it.
Never heard of it. All right. So let me just share. Let me do a little bit of presentation and share the screen. Let me do a little bit of presenting here. Hold on a second. Matchfit. There we go. Share the entire screen. Which screen am I sharing? Not that one. This one. Screen number 3. And let me bring you guys up over on the right over here. Okay, so Matchfit is it's a system, a series of clamps that uses a dovetail bit. This dovetail bit right here. Dovetail bit has rounded edges on the inside and outside, so it doesn't create sharp turns and all. And it's meant to match up. Oh, that's a blurry picture. It's meant to match up with their clamps, these little slide-in clamps, right? Dovetail clamps. But there's also all kinds of accessories and things that one can use and make. And there's all kinds of cam clamp little hold downs and all that wonderful jazz and blah, blah, blah. But one of the big things is now a lot of people are starting to use the Matchfit system with their CNCs, and rightly so. It's a good little clamping system. So they have different type of jig sets and stuff for the Matchfit system. these little, side clamp, low profile side clamps and all. I mean, these are things that we can actually make with our CNC, right? But the little fence systems and stuff for squaring up your boards and kind of clamping into it. Well, it's not only is it great for let's go back to CNC, Matchfit CNC clamping. Let's go back here. Not only is it a cool little system for jigs and fixtures and stuff for your CNC, but but it's also great for workshop workbenches and everything. Now these little dovetail little T-nuts, if you will, they can be made out of wood. They can be made out of wood. They don't need to be. You don't need to buy them. It's just 3/8 inch thick wood, 3/8 inch thick material. If we were to look here at there, it's just a 14-degree dovetail bit, and you can use the Matchfit dovetail bit to make the parts and all that stuff. So the clamps and everything are affordable. A 4-piece of these clamps is like $80. And it comes with the router bit too, and all that wonderful stuff. But of course, those are too high for CNC. So we would want the T-nuts, the little dovetail T-nuts and all that stuff. And how many show of hands in the chat and everything? How many CNC can actually has an open bed where you could actually, I think like an Avid system or something, or you have an ability to carve over the front edge of your CNC to where you could do carving on the ends of boards, like let's say putting a tenon on the end of a board and things like that. What are the capabilities? The reason why I ask is, let me see if I can find that photo again. These like this workbench here for side clamping and stuff. Well, not only for the workbench, but let me find the photo. Bear with me. I just saw that photo, which is prompting the question that I was asking. Let's see here. Matchfit CNC vertical clamp. All right. See if I can find. Okay. So some CNCs have the ability to carve off the front of their CNC machine. So that leads to the possibility of, making a jig so that you could do vertical clamping for things like, dovetails, through dovetails or half-blind dovetails. Just a variety of different clamping scenarios and stuff. And the Matchfit system is kind of like for that DIY situation. If your CNC has that ability, of course, that is also another great application for carving. Now, I just finished, I think I posted into the groups the wasteboard that I was working on and everything for the vacuum clamping and the T-tracks and stuff. And didn't even think about the Matchfit system when I was thinking about like the T-tracks, right? The aluminum T-tracks and everything. I could have very easily incorporated the Matchfit instead of T-tracks and having to go so deep and all. The Matchfit dovetails, for clamps and hold downs and everything to go along with this wasteboard. Now, that's definitely an alternative thing. But more of an alternative is the jigs. Now I could have this with my T-Tracks, no problem and everything, but my jigs that go on it for holding all my parts and stuff, that is where the that's where the Matchfit system could come in really handy. And the CNC jigs, let me see here, Matchfit CNC jig clamping. Let me find a good reference. Yeah, so making a jig bed and everything that has that versatile clamping and stuff where the Matchfit system could be applied. And again, the dovetail little T nut things, that's Euros and all that stuff, but the those little dovetail T nuts and all, we could actually machine that out of wood, HDPE plastic. There's all kinds of materials and stuff. I would make mine out of HDPE or wood even. And I have I could, where you could cut threads in it if you wanted to do thread cutting, or I have on Amazon heated thread insert tool. This little guy right here. I have this little press for putting in heated inserts, threaded inserts into parts and everything. So you drill a hole, and in your part, drill a hole, set the insert in there, and this little heat gun heats up the insert and it melts it into the part and everything. And there's all kinds of different little inserts and stuff like that. So I got this little kit here. So making those little T nuts, if I didn't want to do it in in wood and make wooden threads or use threaded inserts, which I could do that too, I could do it in plastic, and I could put in plastic inserts. Or again, I could use a threading bit and cut threads and stuff. All kinds of stuff has been going through my head with the clamping situation. So I wanted to find out from anybody is if anybody's ever thought about using that, and especially when I came across Onefinity and a few other CNC machines that are using the Matchfit system to really come up with some very cool jigs and stuff like that. Rob says it's not a bad system, but without proper support, all the dovetail slots seem to allow for slight warping in the plywood. And I could definitely see that. It depends how far apart you space your slots and everything. That's where solid wood edge banding can come into play. If it's going to be jigs, we can use MDF or something that's not too prone to wood movement and things like that. The MDF sheeting and things for the Matchfit systems and stuff. So, but yes, absolutely, I can see where that could be a problem and all that and everything. And I just, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, man, I could, I've got the router bits. I don't know what this router bit is, but I got the dovetail bit. And with that, that's all I need. With a CNC, I can make any kind of jig for my shop. I can make any kind of jig for my clamping for my CNCs, but also for my workshop too, for my table saw sleds, my router tables and fences and things, and just wanted to have a discussion about it. These little, if we're only cutting 3/8 of an inch in deep, so we still have on a 3/4 inch MDF, we still have plenty of meat. Let's see if I can open this in a new tab. We still have plenty of meat for those type of jigs for all kinds of different, CNC type hold downs and things. And it intrigues me. It intrigues me a lot. Ronnie, what do you think? What do you think? You think that's
Yeah, I think it's a pretty slick system.
yeah. If I didn't want to, I
I
love
know
microjig. Now I'm not saying cheap microjig out of anything, but now I would buy the microjig clamps, those ones that fit into the T-truck. But for the T-nuts, the T-bolts, I mean, hell, I'll go down to Lowe's and buy a couple of, or I could buy a 10-pack of wing nuts, little like those green wing nuts. I can buy them; they'd be black, but I could buy a 10-pack for a couple bucks, and I could make the dovetail T nuts themselves, whether I make it out of wood or what have you. I mean, I don't have to, buy all those little nuts and bolts and all that stuff. Now the big clamps, yes, I'd probably get a 4-pack or more of those. But for all the jigs, if I didn't want to make them myself, of course, I could buy them. They have jig kits. They have bundles of jig kits where you can buy all the little wing nuts, bolts, and all that stuff. But what are your thoughts? Would you, if you incorporated something like that, would you see yourself buying the little T-nuts and stuff or making it?
I just from a time and resource standpoint, I'd probably just buy the stuff.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, but I would also probably bypass the MDF and go with like HDPE, some type of material like that. Because even with the
100%.
MDF on my 4x8 spoil board, and I've made MDF. Actually, I end up using Plum Creek MDF from a stability standpoint.
Okay.
It's going to warp. I mean, it just does. But so yeah, the HDPE probably would be better. But it depends on what you're doing, right? I mean, if I'm just prototyping stuff and then I'm going to batch out, create an array, and start cutting parts out of a 4x8 sheet, I just use my vacuum table. But if
Yep.
I'm just prototyping
Yeah.
one-off stuff, I would want to use this.
Sure. 100%. What? Yeah. And JR, same question to you. What about you? Could you see yourself using something like this? But before you answer, JR, this would, just like you said, Ronnie. I mean, there's other methods of clamping. I have vacuum as well, the vacuum clamping and stuff. But something like this is not just useful on the CNC, but it's also useful in the rest of the shop. It's just I forgot that I had the router bit, and I'm making my wasteboard and all that stuff, and I thought, oh man, why didn't I think about that ahead of time? JR, what about you? Have you ever seen or come across the Matchfit? You ever?
Yeah, I've actually looked at them. I'm sure I got a pair of them around here somewhere that I've never used. My preferred method for, mounting anything down anywhere is my
Right.
23 gauge pin nailer, followed up by when I get the vacuum table system up, or I've got the pneumatic clamping system too.
Right. Are you using like actual pin nails, metal pin nails, or are you using those plastic pin nails for the purpose that you see a lot of people using, for holding down? So if your bit hits it and everything and all that stuff.
I've been using the metal ones because I can only find one pin nailer that uses the plastic ones.
Yes. Yeah.
But
you have to. It's a special gun, right?
Yeah, and I've hit the pin nails. I mean, for the last year, I've been using it, and maybe on a microscopic level, it's doing something to the bits, but they're so small that I haven't noticed anything on the bits.
Sure. Yeah, no, yeah, especially if it's an actual pin nail, not a brad, but a pin nail. They're super, they're super small. You might see a spark every once in a while. I have. But JR, you posted about vacuum pods.
Yes.
You've got they've got Next Wave Automation has some vacuum pods discounted.
Yeah, take a look at them. They're
6x6.
I have them too, and they're super nice quality. And $70 less 20%.
Right. So it's $70, 20% off of that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, not bad. The what is that? Next Wave Automation. That's our competition over there at old Digital Wood Carve, but a little competition never hurts. Let's see what we got here. So if we go to shop,
CNC accessories.
CNC accessories, where is that?
Yep, down, down. Yep.
Right here.
There.
Oh yeah, they're nice looking too. That's HDPE. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, nice. Looks to be about a half inch too. Half inch HDPE. Really nice. Good quality. Looks really good.
Yeah.
They looks like there's a plug in it. Let's see here. Yep. The valve, or either that's where it holds down, or that's the valve. One of the two.
Well, that's a valve when you slap your board up on there and you just finger press it down, and that valve opens up for you.
That's the ball valve. Yeah, those are really nice. That's what that is. It's not a screw. That's a ball valve. Yep, a literal ball valve. When the vacuum sucks it down, or when you press it down, it opens up that orifice. Really nice. Very good quality and everything. So that's the 6x12, and
they got a 6x6.
Yep. Let's see here. The 6x6, 20% off, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Not bad. Not bad. Again, I don't know how they get their HDPE so damn shiny, but how do they get it so shiny? Mine's never looked that shiny. It's yeah. Yep, there's a little ball valve. Yeah, not a bad little system. Those are great. And for those of you that are, that can't afford big vacuum systems and things like that, oh God, hold on a second. Hold on. Hold on a minute. Why did I just draw a blank? It's not JR Woodworker, because I'm thinking of JR right now. JR, hold on a second. It's all of the vacuum pumps and the vacuum kits and everything.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, it's something Woodworker. It's vacuum clamping systems. Shoot, somebody in the chat help me out here. I use All-Star gaskets too. So speaking of that real quick, Ronnie, on the let me see here. I still have my yeah, I still have my link up. Yeah, right here. I use this particular gas, not that one. Hold on. Oh, not that one. Where's my gasket at? The 3/8.281 right here. So I use this particular gasket right here. All-Star. It's a good product. and everything. This is a square gasket, so it fits down into your square grooves of your, jig. So this, my jig, my wasteboard jig and everything here. If we go into the 2D view in Vectric, I have on the width here and on the height, the spacing is for that 0.281, and then the cut depth that I'm cutting these pockets at, you want a little bit, about a 1/16 of an inch of the foam sticking up above when it's fully pressed in and everything. And so the pocket depth is I'm going 0.3175 on that 0.352 or 3/8 inch gasket. The 3.5, it's 0.38. That's not point. They got to run it. It's 0.38. But anyway, it gives me about 0.067 inches above the top of the foam sticks up about that, so it compresses that 1/16 of an inch when the vacuum comes on. So yeah, Ronnie, All-Star is real good. But going back to joewoodworker.com. So it's like I was thinking, like Joe Dirt, joewoodworker.com. joewoodworker.com is great if you ever do veneers and all that stuff for all kinds of clamping bags and things like that. Well, they have the vacuum pumps and vacuum clamp kits and stuff. And so when it comes to the vacuum clamping, those little ball valves, right? They're called Mac ball valves for the jigs and everything. They sell them there, about $3.79 each. Great little valves. They when they're closed, so the vacuum can't escape. But then you kind of press them down, and it lets the vacuum in. But the vacuum kits, right? So this is the kit that I ended up building and making. Let's see if we can open up a large photo there. But little DIY vacuum pump, and it's got two 4-inch pipes on the side that hold the vacuum air, and always has a little pipe here that holds when the pump's not, when it's cycling and all, it always has vacuum in it, so it doesn't burn out the pump prematurely and stuff. But this is a great little system for pods, for vacuum clamping bags, like if you're doing vacuum glue ups and veneer pressing and all that stuff. It's the EVS2 system from joewoodworker.com. I've had mine for years and I love it. And I use vacuum pods on my little mini carver and stuff like that. It's pods that I've made out of HDPE, and we used to sell them at Digital Wood Carver. We stopped selling them because they weren't a very popular item and everything, and it was easier to buy others. But old Next Waves looks really good. It's a really nice looking product and everything. And 20% off, not bad at all. I like the design. Yep. Minus the shark logo, but that's all right. No, I'm just kidding.
It's a sticker.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Okay, there you go. But no, let me get back to here. What I am looking at is I'm trying to make my shop is like I don't know what's the word, versatile as possible. My outfeed table is going to be that lift table that we designed in one of the classes. Still haven't made it the Ron Polk type table, but incorporating something like a clamp system into the top of that and everything. I bought that bit for the purpose of, using it or coming up with some kind of ideas. And it literally slipped my mind until tonight. I'm like I said, I'm going down these rabbit holes of shop accessories and shop cabinets and all of that stuff. If you look at on my Etsy, right, So I'm looking at the miter saw stations and full shop workbench kits and all this stuff, right? I'm just I'm kind of in that mode, like, you know, I need to start building all the supports for my tools and all of the things that I need to make, you know, for the shop. I need storage because just crap is piled on top of crap. You know, it really is. It's not crap; it's my tools and stuff. But it's a mountain of chaos. And as I'm looking at these different scenarios and situations and things like that, where in my small area where things can be multi-purpose and all, I started looking at the Matchfit clamp system, and I was looking at this plan here, which is a very cool plan, by the way, by whoever the store is. Great job on it. But the workbench, workspaces, and all of that stuff, I got to looking, and I ended up, you know, on this page, and I thought, oh, I want to have that conversation, because the reason why we're having these kind of conversations, ladies and gentlemen, is I really need your input. I need some, you know, I don't care if you put it in the comment section, if you email me, if you put it in the chat on Spindle TV subscribers, you know, exclusive group in Facebook. I need class topics. You know, what do you want to learn, you know, on these private classes and everything? Because I spend hours and hours and hours looking at CNC projects, and I'm like, you know, some of the projects have been there, done that. People have beat it to death, and you know, I want you to be getting everything that you want out of these courses or these live events and everything. So, man, just start throwing some topics out there, and I'll start, you know, creating a class, you know, schedule based off them, because right now it's hard trying to come up, especially with, you know, Wednesday and Thursday, trying to come up with, you know, 2 topics a week, every week, that just hasn't been beat to death by Garrett or Carl or Kyle, not Kyle, so Kyle, or, you know, Mark Lindsay or what have you, and just kind of like something that's specific to you. That's what these exclusive classes are for. So, you know, it's topics that you want to cover that interest you. But this just you know, interests me because I'm literally in the process of laying out a shop, right? So I need things to be like versatile, where my hold downs and jigs and stuff, I could transfer them over to a workbench and still hold my workpiece for sanding, finishing, whatever the case may be, or, you know, glue ups. We're talking about the pneumatic clamping system that I showed you the other Saturday night and stuff. And, you know, that would be great with, you know, paired with a little Matchfit workbench and all that stuff. But yeah, that's crazy, all those clamps and stuff. There's so many options, right? And it's one of those things. So right now, yes, sir.
Yeah, just a quick question. I saw somebody out there that was making these. I forget the guy's name or the channel, Braunwood or something like that. Does these inlaid, really intricate inlaid cutting boards, and I noticed he uses like for his clamping, it's pretty fast and simple, but it's like pieces of PVC pipe.
Yeah.
That make, you know, basically the fence area, and then he takes like little wooden wedges to hold it in there.
Yes, and so what it's I don't know if Bruin Woodworking and I don't know if he rebranded as Bruin Woodworking, but there was another guy who just like him that made beautiful inlay butcher blocks and cutting boards. It might be the same guy, but let's see here. Let's go to.
I mean, it just seemed like a quick down and dirty way of creating a hold down.
Yes, and let me see if I can not share the screen just yet until I don't get tagged with all these people's videos and stuff. Let's see here. We're gonna do cutting board inlay. Where are you at, big boy? Meadowview, Broin Wood, Broin Wood. Anyhow, let's pause.
Yeah,
Right,
BORINWOOD.
Yep. Exactly what. Let me get past the commercial here. Pause, and let's back up. Let's back up just a hair, right about there, and let me share this screenshot, if you will. You're referring to this.
Yes.
Right? So basically, this is the wasteboard, right? And it has, I believe that's 3/4 inch or, 3/4 inch PVC, I believe it is, size holes milled all the way through. And when that part comes on, place the PVC pipe, and then it's just wedge clamping, right? So literally just wedge clamping in there to hold the parts. Absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. And that is as low tech and cost effective as you can get. Because hell, you can get a piece of 10-foot PVC pipe. It's not cheap by any means. And by the way, speaking of that, I can get a 10-foot 3/4 inch PVC pipe for, I don't know how much it is, $10 or $15. But when I want to buy a pre-cut 5-foot piece, it's like $21. It makes no sense, Lowe's, if you're listening. I got,
they know you came in your Subaru or something, and you can't get a long stick in your car.
They have a rack of shortcut pieces, and the one piece is like 3 times as much as the 10-foot right behind it where the display is.
I've just been kind of curious if you've used that. I've been meaning to actually ask you this question.
My very first wasteboard was a wedge clamping jig, a wedge clamping wasteboard, no, but not with PVC pipe. No, I had wooden. Hold on. I can actually show my video. Let's see here. Watch this. Wasteboard step by step. Let's go here. Let's see how. There I am. Versatile wasteboard. All right. YouTube, do not tag me for watching my own video. I can't watch my own videos. I'm not supposed to. But let's go right here. Fast forward. Okay. So I had, let me make this bigger. This was my very first wasteboard with these large holes, and the fence pieces and the cams and everything popped right in. And then this fence slid over, and then there was wedge pieces for wedge clamping. So you just now these are square pieces that you see in here, but literal wedge clamps. My wedge pieces are back here, but where you just kind of beat them in and it tightens up and everything. So that was my very first wasteboard, but never once did I think about the PVC. Never once did I think about the PVC option and everything. And when making that very first wasteboard and stuff. So, yeah.
But the whole wedge thing worked out pretty good.
Oh yeah, wedge clamping for sure. And let's see here. Hold on a second. Wedge clamp jig. So, ladies and gentlemen, for your, if you're watching, it's a very versatile way to clamp. So, against your piece, you might have, in his case, he uses PVC as his stops, like that square block. Think of that as that piece of PVC. And then the wedge, your small wedges and everything just come in, and it is solid as a rock.
Okay.
It does very well. I wonder if I type in wedge clamp and PVC jig, if there's a nope. Wedge clamp and PVC pipe. No. So wedge clamp CNC. No, nothing. And then I know where there's another photo. CNC waste board. CNC waste board. So under images, which is where we are. Oh Lord have mercy. But doesn't have it here. But but PVC pipe, your waste board could literally be just that. And the wedge clamping does really well. It's a secure hold too, Ronnie. Ain't no doubt about it. It's I've never on any of my glue ups, like when I'm gluing up panels or stuff, or on my CNC, I never had any of my wedges come loose and everything. But it's a viable system, and Brian, that's how simple it gets for him with holding his stuff down and everything. Brian. But yeah, I came across, Onefinity. I love the Onefinity system. Nice system. I have no nothing bad to say about Onefinity. It's a pretty solid system and everything. And I saw their Matchfit, dovetail jig and hardware kit and stuff. And the after Onefinity, there was this photo. I don't even know what machine this is. Carveco, I guess, maker. But they're also using the Matchfit. And I thought, man, forgot all about the Matchfit system and stuff when designing the waste board. And it's a pretty solid system. All right. So let's get out of that for a second. And see, simple little hold downs. They could be low profile too. They don't need to be that big up, but simple holding methods, nothing wrong with it at all. And so when I'm looking at my waste board now, go back to Aspire and everything, looking at my waste board, I finally got it all done. And oops, I'm gonna close this and go back to here. I finally got it all done and it's ready to carve. So I pick up the MDF. I was supposed to get the MDF today, but I didn't. But I need to start making this and get this done. And my grid is for the All-Star. My grid is made for the All-Star gasket. I like All-Star's product. I even thought about buying their little perforated holes mats. Their remember that All-Star here. These guys right here, the TG system, I don't know what they call it, but tile gasket. And basically it covers the work area to minimize the clamping area and stuff, so that on that tile gasket, when you're cutting out small parts and everything, it really minimizes the vacuum loss, right? And stuff. And then they also have the tile gasket in the let me see if I have a picture here. They have. Hold on a second. Well, imagine, if you will, your jig, like you have a piece of melamine or you piece of. I'm liking now. I don't know about you with your jigs and stuff, but I'm liking the PVC sheets from Lowe's nowadays. It's 3-inch thick PVC sheeting, and it there's no air leak coming through that at all, and making jigs for holding down like your lid parts and box parts. Not there, but Ronnie. Um, this little gasket system basically would go over my grid system, and it would minimize the loss of air, or it would go over the waste board, not my grid system, but it would go over the waste board. And now, instead of the whole waste board breathing, it's only these little circles, these little holes, and everything and stuff. So All Star is a pretty cool product. They have their little lightweight system too. JR was talking about um, the Next Wave Automation. All Star has their. Oh, by the way, JR, they also have their Focus Fit foam for in-jig foam inserts for vacuum jigs and all. They inboard gasket is what they call it. So it goes in the jigs.
Yeah, there's a couple of there. Also, have you looked at air weights?
But well, yes. So that's what I'm getting to. They're hold on a second. Their products. Hold on a second. Right here. So Airweights is All Star. If I'm not mistaken, because their Airweight system is the All Star product. Hold on, Airweights is. Give me a second before I make myself sound stupid. Air, isn't it WE like weights? Airweights.
Yeah, WEI.
Yeah, all one word, no spaces. Vacuum table, and Airweights. Wait for it. You're not going to let me have you. Okay, let's go to a different. Oh, no, not going to let me have that. All right, give me just a second. We'll go to images. All right, so Airweights, right? And then All Star, it's the same jig, literally the same fixtures and everything. So they're one and the same. Oh, okay. So don't go to that website I was just at. There was it blocked the risky blockage. Thank you, Norton, for catching that. But Airweights and All Star, their little kits it's the same kit. So I don't know. I don't know if they just copied each other or if they have some affiliation together. I don't know. But that is a nice little kit. It's a very simple little. Oh, there it goes again. Norton, thank you for catching that stuff. Norton's catching all kinds of bad sites. I shouldn't be clicking on no photos and stuff. All right, but nice little. I'm not going to click on anything that says AW. Let's see here. That was a bad picture. Let me find a picture that works here. Let's see. Are you going to let me open you up? There you go. Shout out to this YouTuber right here. But anyhow, this is a little plenum that you guys, let me share it on the screen. Screen share, entire screen. Let's see if I can get his image to open up in a new tab right there. So their little pennant system, and what you weren't seeing, what I was just showing you, JR, when I said, let's go back really quickly. When looking at the air weight system, or the All-Star system, right? They're pumping everything. The All-Star system and the air weights system, they are in design. They're very close, right? So the that's a bad picture. Can't be clicking on that one. But anyway, coming back to this, it's a nice little plenum system, guys. If you have a small CNC, it uses a small vacuum pump, not a big one. It uses one like that I just showed you at Joe Woodworker, but it comes. That kit has a pump and all. Now it ain't cheap. I'll tell you that right now. It's $749, but heck, that pump alone, my little kit was $599. So, just for the pump kit and everything and all. But I don't know what affiliation All-Star and Airweights have in, if there's any crossover there. Because it says right here in the same photo, I don't know if you can, let me see if I can make this. See how it says All-Star CNC Products Airweights, right? All-Star CNC Product Airweights, it's like a brand of a brand. Airweights is All-Star, or what have you. Yeah. But so joewoodworker.com is another good source. Let me close out of here and get back to get out of that and get back here. So my wasteboard is for my T-track and all, but it's also for that All-Star foam. I use the 0.281 by 3/8, 0.38, not 375. But it's good. It's good stuff. It's not cheap by any means, but 60 foot of that stuff. 0.281 inches wide, 0.38 inches thick, square gasket. They also have round. I prefer the square because my grooves are square, right? $71 for 60 foot of it. So I don't know, what is that? Is that a little more than $1 a foot or a little less than $1 a foot? I can't do the math in my head right now. $71, 60 foot. It's a little more than $1 a foot, right? Pennies above $1. Ronnie, we talked about this last time. We were talking about hold downs and all. Your CNC table, you have a piece of melamine that has pre-cut places carved on it, correct? That holds certain parts that you're manufacturing on a regular basis. Isn't that correct? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, that's correct. And it sits on top of my MDF spoil board, and I use that for the vacuum hold down. But I cut out for the size of the parts that actually fit down inside that 3/4 melamine.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. And on those parts, are they pressure fit in there, or are they actually vacuum held into that melamine? Is there vacuum coming through that? Don't you have a vacuum table?
Yeah. It's pulling vacuum through the that 4x8 sheet of that MDF spoil board I have.
Right.
So my table on my machine is a piece of phenolic. It's got four. I don't know what you call them, 4 stages or whatever, 4 zones, I guess, zones. And
right.
It just pulls a suction down through. But it's not like pressure fitted. Let's say I've got on the tops of these cases, they're like, I don't know, they could be whatever, but they're like 10 1/4 by 16 1/2.
Right.
And I just pre-cut those, put them down inside that opening. turn on the vacuum and hit go on the CNC.
Right. And I got a question for you. Not too long ago, what was it? A couple months ago, you had made your first 3D carving in your gun case lid for that special, event and everything. You doing any more 3D carving since then?
I haven't, but I am doing the. It's funny you asked because I'm working on two glass presentation cases. One is going to house a $75,000 pistol, and the other is a $110,000 pistol.
Jeez.
You can believe people have that kind of money to buy on pistols. It's amazing to me. But I'm going to be doing stacked text carving on three sides of the base, and but now after it's probably been 2 classes ago, maybe 3, where you were talking about doing the texturing. It was a texturing class. Yeah. And so now I'm working on creating the boundary offset so I can do the texturing after the stack text. But I would love to do more 3D carving, but if I'm not doing it every day, it's just like, I don't know.
Sure. Yeah. If it's not coming up, if it's not part of the project and everything and all that. Jerry, you were down and out for a little while. It looks like you're getting back on your feet again and stuff. Are you getting back to carving, or are you just kind of still getting your bearings?
No, actually, my biggest customer just hit me with a rush order. So been doing that all day. Be doing that all for the next 2 weeks, getting her stuff together.
Nice. And in the chat, everybody in the chat, y'all are still with us. Don't be going to sleep on me now. I'm not kidding about giving me ideas on classes and everything. It's literally, especially when I'm like, it's in a situation like this where I work. I have a full-time job with Digital Woodcarver. My company, Build It TV LLC, handles all sales, service, and support for Digital Woodcarver CNC machines in the company. And so it's a 24-hour call center, 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. Digital Woodcarver customers can reach out for support for whether it's technical support with their systems, their software, designs, whatever it is. And so there are over 5,000 clients and customers and everything. And then on top of that, I teach private classes, one-on-one classes with people who subscribe to one-on-one training. They don't have to be Digital Woodcarver customers. They can own anything. It's just Vectric software training. And so those classes are going on too at the same time. And so when all that's done on Wednesday nights and Thursday nights, I have to start researching like, okay, what do I want to talk about? What are we going to teach tonight and everything? And you almost got a class tonight on cribbage boards. But I wanted to really talk about this clamping system because I'm kind of knee deep in that too. I need to get my shop in order because I'm really anxious about getting out of the shop because there's so many things I want to talk about CNC methods and clampings, hold downs, and just everything. Like, for instance, Jared, do you still own a 2440 or do you just own the 4848 now?
No, I've got, counting hopefully the one I get in here Friday, I'll have the 1824, the 2440, and the 4880, plus a couple of other manufacturers.
Right. Exactly. Right. Now, what are CNC machines? Well, here's something that I did. And if anybody else is in the Digital Woodcarver, realm of things and all that. So our commercial units are 2636, 3648, 4848, and 5100. The operator stands at the front of the table. And no matter where the operator stands at the CNC, X is always left to right of the operator. Y is always to and from the operator. Y minus is towards the operator. Y positive away, X minus to the left of the operator, X positive to the right. It doesn't matter if the operator's standing on the right side of the table or at the front. And so on my big 4848, I'm standing at the front of the machine, and on the 2440, it's on the side of the machine, and on the mini carver, it's on the side of the machine. And I am working on, my big CNC machine, and when I transition over to the 2440, like I'm making this wasteboard and all this other stuff, but I'm also, clamping and everything. I'm like, the front of my machine is right there, right? And so, and I'm instead of standing on the side. So today I switched my axes around so I can stand in front of the 2440, just like I stand in front of the 4848, and X is, still left and right, but X now is the 24-inch and Y is the 40-inch, just like, my 4848. So I reversed the axes and everything and set up my limit switches and all that stuff. But because I want to be able to, my machines are in order. So I have a 4x8, 4x4, and then the 2440. They're literally in line with one another. And I stand in the front of the 4x8. I stand in front of the 4x4, but then I had to go to the side of the 2440. And so now I can stand in front of the 2440, and everything is all consistent with me. So X is X, and I shouldn't say it that way. So that the X is at the front of the table to my left or right instead of me standing on the side. Now, the reason why the owners stand on the side of the 2440s and all, just for reference purposes, is the control box mounts on the shelf right on the side of the unit, and it has the e-stop, right? So the operator is standing right where the emergency stop is, the power on and off and everything. And the unit, the control box sits front and center. And, when the operator's standing there, so they're right there at the controls. Now, if they're standing at the front of the table and the control box off to the side, now that's an extra movement to get to the emergency stop, right? So that's why the operator stands on the side. And, but for me, my 2440, I ended up rebuilding a control box because I put in my water-cooled spindle system is a PC cooling system, like a like a PC computer cooling system instead of a big tank and aquarium pump and all that stuff. And so so now my box, what's that?
Plus, you also have your fourth axis on the 2440s on the left.
It's on the left. Yep. My fourth axis is on the left-hand side and everything. Now, that's another thing, is something very different, which one of these days I want to have a class on this, guys. But it's even still strange to me. But for the units like your 4848 JR, where the fourth axis mounts on the table, the CNC is mounting overhead, carving overhead, and the actual rotary is the A axis. And so there's a post processor to convert Y to A, and the A axis in Planet CNC, it's degrees, per. It's not inches per minute; it's degrees per minute, and it's based on degrees and turning and all. Well, on the 2440, the rotary axis is the Y axis, so the Y is turning. We're wrapping Y values around the A axis, basically, and when the router's pivoted sideways and coming in at the side, when that router turns and all, there's never really, it's because of the arc motion of the turn, there's never really a flat spot, if you're doing things and all. But when you're carving overhead, you can move X, Y, and Z, and then you have your A for your rotary. So I'm just now learning overhead carving because my 4848 and everything has a fourth axis and stuff. So that's going to be a whole nother class and everything. I'm learning the degrees, I just designed the digital wood carver post processor to convert Y values to A for the purpose of running those machines, the commercial machines where the fourth axis is mounted on the bed. And it's a true A axis instead of a Y axis rotation. It's confusing just to even say it out loud, but that's something I'll be talking about in the future as soon as I learn it, or get more comfortable with it, should I say. But yes, my 2440 has a rotary axis on it on the side, and that doesn't change. It's still there. But now I can stand at the front of the unit and all. How do you finish or paint stack text pieces? All right. Very carefully. Let me just pull this up real quick and give me a second. All right, all right, all right. Give me just a moment. Now, there's a YouTube channel, Paint Life TV. Great guy. Enjoy his work and everything. Let's pause this. And let me screen share. All right, so when it comes to painting, now this is just raised text first before we get to the stack text, Kurt, but on raised text, a foam roller, you want a foam roller, and in the case of this, he's using a rolling pan, but he's spraying spray paint into the pan. So when he's doing the roller, he's taking a spray can, and let me move the chat here. A spray can and spraying just a small amount of paint, puddling a small amount of paint in there, and then the foam roller, he's just using that foam roller just to coat it, not saturated, right? And when you paint the top surface and everything, you're putting a light pressure on. And don't tag my video, dude. You're putting a light pressure on just so it captures the top of the letters and it doesn't bleed down, because the background for him is white. So Paint Life, great video. It's how to paint a wood sign quick and easy, right? And so now that concept, okay, you can use a combination of Aura Mask and different things, but for your highlighters and all that, and your outer rim and all, a foam roller is going to capture that. You can do a base paint. You can spray paint the whole thing, almost like a primer, if you will, your base color, and then you can top that off with a foam roller on the top things. And as far as the lower letters and stuff, if they're going to be different and all too, that's kind of your kind of brush painting. A lot of that, painting a text on text sign is a very difficult scenario, and I am not the best at finishing, but Paint Life on YouTube, how to paint a wood sign, has a great little discussion on, he does a multicolored sign with that foam roller and everything. But that would be the way I would start. Don't saturate, don't soak. You don't want to paint to be really, really, really wet that runs and everything. You just want your just light coats. So you're just rolling a light coat on the surface, and you're doing that multiple times until it gets to the darkness that you want and everything. Give me 1 second here. Sorry about that. Had 800 years to cut. Ronnie, are you 870?
Yes, that's me. I was
Dude,
just in
that's great. Holy moly, man. Yeah.
Well, you'd asked the question, so I just in your spare time you can see what I got going on.
That's absolutely wonderful. Ronnie was showing me the jig, and ladies and gentlemen, it's such a wonderful thing. Basically, Ron makes these beautiful gun boxes and everything, and his lid, his sides, and the things that he carves. It's the sides too, right, Ron? He has a sheet of melamine, and he has pockets cut out where his parts perfectly fit in these pockets. So he puts in the blanks and can hit start and carving, pull those blanks out, put the next ones. They're not blanks at that point. Pull the carvings out, put the blanks in and everything. It's a really cool setup. Ronnie, I started doing that, but I'm actually using the PVC sheeting, believe it or not, just because, vacuum is only happening right where my openings are, and I did with the melamine. You probably 99% of the time, right? or 99% positive, you went around, you have edge banding around your melamine, correct?
I don't have it. I don't have it on that because I'm not pulling the vacuum through the melamine there. It's only coming through my MDS full board. So it's as long as I've got, you know, the melamine just actually covering the top of the spoil board. That's where the vacuum is being pulled through. So once I put the pieces in there and then turn on the vacuum, it's sucking down the walnut pieces as well as, you know, obviously the 3/4 inch melamine too.
Yeah. I am, ladies and gentlemen, when I get everything up and running with the CNCs and stuff, we will be having conversations more and more to show vacuum pods and clamping and stuff like that. The vacuum pods on my smaller CNC, I also use them on my workbench too for when I'm hand planing wood. I'll vacuum clamp a board down with little pods and stuff. Similar to like what JR showed, those are pods on that Next Wave automation. Again, my pods came from, you know, JR Woodworking, and also I made them, you know, at a HDPE.
I don't know if it's okay to do this, Laney, or if it's helpful to the group on the Facebook site, but or YouTube, whatever. But I mean, I don't mind taking a quick video of what I'm trying to. The video may mean more than me trying to explain what I'm doing, but you know, to share things like that, if that's.
Oh yeah, you can like you know, you have at the bottom of your screen, you have screen share. So if you ever want to share photos, any JR, you too, that you guys are you know, as guests, you can share photos. You can share your screen if you're showing something, a design, if you're showing a photo or anything like that. I would say, you know, organize them into a folder, and that way. You know, you're not going through your entire computer system where, you know, confidential documents and stuff like that are. You just go right through the folder. But no. You're encouraged. You're more than welcome to do that.
That's I thought it might be helpful to the group too. You know, if we're all just kind of sharing some of our successes and failures.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. Yeah, and also everybody in the group. Gold members, just like JR and Ronnie, can participate in the live events, like on live. I can host 9 of you, you know, counting myself as 10. So there could be 9 of us, right? And it's a cool way to, you know, talk and collaborate. And if you have something you want to just like show and tell, or you want to teach something one night, or you want to, you know, a little tip or trick and stuff like that, encouraged, highly encouraged. So definitely welcomed by any means, by all means. Let's see here. I wanted to take a moment, and I don't have it on. This is Restream. You'll have to forgive me. Bear with me just a second. Captions. Let's throw that up while I'm looking for what I'm looking for. Don't forget to give a thumbs up, guys. All right, let's see here. This is what I want to do. For those of you that do not have it, spindletv.com. This is the email address. If ever you need to email anything, if you want to email class topics, if you have a discussion, if you have you know, if you have something you need help with or something like that, you can reach out for me one-on-one. And gold members, you can set a one-on-one video or phone meeting with me every month. You can set a time for that. And if you are a gold member and you don't have your meeting link, you have a special link that you use every month to schedule a meeting, whether it be a video meeting or a phone conference, where you can talk to me about anything where you're getting advice or help, or you need help with a design or a project. Gold members, you have that ability and everything. So if you're a gold member and you do not have your meeting link, email me there with the subject line meeting link, and I'll make sure you get it and all that good stuff. haven't done that or talked about that in a while. I've been wanting to do that. Okay. The but no, if anybody has something special they want to talk about, whether you're a gold member or not, if there's a topic you want to cover on a particular project and you want us to all collaborate on it or something, or kind of give advice and stuff, send that file to that email and we'll pop it up on the screen and we'll discuss it, and you can give you feedback or advice or help or something. That's what this whole thing is for. It's a learning process. You guys are paying for this exclusive membership to have access to learn. So and sometimes the topics I come up with aren't the best in the world, like tonight, right? It's not a great topic, but it's a topic I want to talk about, and everything. Do y'all have anything to add to that? Let me see what's happening in the chat here. I appreciate that. Now, Jared and Ron have learned how to chat in the chat area. Way to go, guys! Because I had to look at your last name there, Ronnie, and I had to look over here and look over there and go, "Is that the same guy?" That's the same guy. All right, cool. But also setting up the laser, right? JR, here we go. Setting up the laser between Planet, CNC, TNG, and Vectric Pro Aspire class would be great. Yes. I don't do a whole lot of laser classes, and that's, one, because not everybody has a laser, but also number two is I'm not like an expert at laser, like, what settings this needs to be to make this happen or what have you. I'm decent with a laser, but I'm not like, I have a digital wood carver customer that he comes to the user group meetings when we have them every once in a while, and he brings his samples of the 3D carvings that he carves with a laser. His laser actually carves the 3D carvings of whatever. And it's like, man, I wish I had that skill level and stuff. But yes, we can definitely do a laser class one night and talk about it on the setup and everything for sure. Yeah, because it's an interesting topic anyway. And we have a new digital wood carver has a new, not only a 6-watt laser, but a 45-watt laser, which is, and they have a 15-watt laser too, but the 45 kind of took over the 15, but it's, they are, they're not your average laser. They're really, really good. So yes, we can definitely do that. And yes, SketchUp and Vectric. I love doing SketchUp projects and everything. Let me see here. Hold on a second. Let me just give you a roundabout reference here. What drive is it? If I type in .skp. Let's see. It's one of those two drives, and I'll share my screen in just a second. Is it that drive? New drawer box. Yeah, so let's go. Let me share a screen here. Entire screen, this, and share. Let me maximize this up, right? So I really enjoy SketchUp projects and everything. Let's see here. See if I can pop one up real quick. Yeah, so let me rotate this. Q for rotate. Let's drop this here, and shut that door. Oops. 90. Shut it a little bit. Oh, it's not 90 because it's not attached. Bear with me just a second. snap that over there. But dartboard cabinets, or what else do I have? 3D mantles, right? 3D mantle pieces. We did a class on that, those 3D mantle pieces and all. Using this particular system uses a French cleat system for this, what do you call them, floating shelves, right? But with a 3D carving on the front. And I enjoy the SketchUp classes. So if y'all like those and want to see more of them, for sure, I would be happy to. Let me see if what do we have going on here. Lego drawer, hall tables. Now we did a class on the 3 hall tables, a woodsmith project and everything, and that's on that. If you're ever curious, I did a class on these on Spindle TV. There, it was a public class and it's available for viewing. But that was a really good class talking about the making of these on the CNC. These 3 different types of tables, based off a Woodsmith article, and really cool stuff. But yeah, I like that stuff, Ronnie. And if anybody is interested in anything like that, I use SketchUp for my R&D projects, for like, you know, my CNC parts, for like, you know, touch blocks and touch pucks and things like that. I use SketchUp for drawing those things out, and I'd be happy to have you know, those classes for sure. And the you know, things like a kid's table and all that stuff. So yeah, we can definitely do SketchUp classes for sure. And let me hide that. We can definitely do that for sure. And if anybody else wants any other topics or anything, let me know. Now, if there's anything in particular that you're interested in SketchUp, you know, like hey, can we design this in SketchUp and all? That would be a great collaborative type project where it might not, you know, get done in one class night, but we might work on it like, you know, a couple of classes or something, and go through and you know, build something that could end up being built, whether it's using the CNC or not. I love woodworking. So most all of my designs go through, when I'm building, they go through SketchUp before they get built and everything. So for sure. Here's a project that I want to do one night. Actually, I need to actually make this one day, ladies and gentlemen. But chessboard, right? Chess set. Now, on here, I personally want to cut the parts, and I want the white tiles or the brown tiles, whatever, to be inlaid, you know. And so that poses a little bit of a trick because I don't want round corners, and also I'm going to use a V-carve inlay, right? And it's going to be a deep V-carve inlay on these parts and everything, so there's some thickness to it and all. But if anyone's interested in anything, you know, stuff like that, those type of projects, or anything, you know, it could be really anything. Yeah, we'll build it. We'll make it for sure. Absolutely. All right. Well, for those of you that did hang out with me tonight and chose me over Garrett Fromm and Mark Lindsay, thank you for that. That makes me feel really happy. But that's definitely a video that I'll go back. I love Mark Lindsay and Garrett. You know, Garrett and I don't know each other really well. I was a guest on this show once, but Mark Lindsay and I, we talk behind the scenes often, and give each other advice. And he helped me a lot, and I'm sure I've given him some advice that helped him. But he's a great guy, and so I'll definitely catch that. I'm sure it was an interest. I like listening to Mark talk. He just when he goes over stuff. But I really appreciate y'all tonight, and I'm going to design. If there's a jig for a CNC that you've been looking for, trying to figure out or something like that, I'm going to be designing in Vectric the tool paths and everything, or the tools and stuff for a match fit, because literally the dovetail bit acts like a dummy bit, an end mill, and you're literally cutting lines, right? Depending on what it is you need and stuff. But it's the making of the little parts, like if you want to make your own little T-nuts to go in there and stuff like that. I'm going to be drawing that up and making that stuff. And if any of you're all as exclusive members, you have access to those files. So when I have those files, I'll release them out to you. Anything I come up with that y'all want. Speaking of that, do y'all want the bookshelf design? Remember that bookshelf I made in last week's class where I was just showing you a quick and simple bookshelf that had all the angle cuts? Do y'all want that? I'll put it together with dimensions and everything in a PDF, and I'll release that to y'all if y'all want it. Let me know. Just a simple yes or no, or not, sucked, or whatever.
Hey, lady.
What's up, Jared? Yep.
On the match fit, I know they've got the dovetail bit. Do you still need to run a straight bit, then their dovetail bit? Or it's one shot?
Yeah, one shot.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah. And it's that bit. That bit is beefy. It's got a 1/2-inch shank. And it is let me see here. Match fit dovetail bit. It comes also in a 1/4-inch shank as well too. So let me share my screen just really quickly on that. On the match fit bit, it comes in 8mm shank, 1/2-inch shank, 1/4-inch shank. So depending on if your CNC needs it and everything. But the dimensions, right? If I can y'all see that? It has, it's cut all the way through, JR. So you're only cutting up to this neck right here. And it has these roundovers. So when it cuts the part here, the tops are rounded over the top of the jig. So it's really, so there's no hangups. The clamps slide really nice through. There's no sharp edges and all for it to kind of get hung up on and everything. So the top and the bottom of the cut are rounded over, and it's one shot. And so it strengthens the walls. It creates smoother tracks. That's true. It's got a 16th-inch round over here, and then a 32nd up there. It's got the insert line where you put it in your CNC, right? And all that stuff. And then it's laser etched depth guide, so that you know how deep. That's the depth guide, so you can measure that, or you can bring that down to your part, zero out on the top, bring it down to what you want, and then find out exactly what that depth is, and however you want to do it to program it in. And it's a 14 degree. So any of your accessories, like these little T-nuts and stuff like that, it's just a 14 degree dovetail, 3/8 of an inch. So the dovetail for the match fit here from the bottom of the cut to the top of the cut is 3/8. And let's see if I can do that a little bit bigger. So it's 3/8 to that top roundover. And again, it creates really smooth, clean jigs because it's only 3/8 of an inch deep, but it's rounded over, so your stuff slides really nicely. So 1/2-inch, 1/4-inch shank, 8mm, 6mm, You know, for the Matchfit folks, they have them in a variety of things, and it's a affordable bit. Around $30, $32, somewhere around there, and it's a pretty slick system. I like it. I like it. I love MicroJig. You know, they used to be one of my sponsors on my other YouTube channel, but I hadn't been with them. They didn't have the Matchfit system back then. Otherwise, I'd have been hooked up with clamps and everything. But a 4-pack.
Cool.
What's that?
I said I use their push blocks.
Yes. Yep. Their push blocks are great, and the only accessory of theirs that I never really figured out, I honestly never really figured it out, was they had a tapering jig for making tapered legs. And it had all kinds of settings and everything that you could set on it and everything. And as for a table saw, so I honestly, I have it, never mastered it at all, and I ended up never using it. But no, MicroJig, I love you still. Don't worry about that. But that was just me, my ignorance. The guys over there, they're always coming out with a lot of cool stuff. Them and Woodpecker, you know, their Woodpecker, man, has some amazing things. But the one really quickly, just really quickly, on to wrap up about this Matchfit. I want to show you this Matchfit CNC clamping, and I want to come back specifically to this guy. Let me open him up in a new tab. Isolate that. This one right here. Now, this is a low profile clamp, right, for the CNC and everything. Okay, and if we look at it in two separate parts, open a new tab. All right, and it's two parts. I don't think it'll let me zoom about that much. But this piece, it's at an angle. And so it's very much like the Tiger Claw system from, oh God, who was that made the Tiger Claw cycles? Yeah, Carbide has them now, but they were originally designed by Legacy CNC, if I'm not mistaken. Legacy was the original creator of them, and then they sold them. Now Carbide has them. But those are nice clamps. They're really nice little clamps. The Tiger Claw system, they're expensive as all be it. Lord have mercy. Anyway, this little guy right here. So what that does is when you tighten this down, there's a slot here so that when you tighten down, it kind of comes forward and down. So it provides side and down pressure and everything, and everything. Super simple to make, right? Could make that out of wood. But anyway, PVC. But I'm talking about not, go buy and support them. And like Ronnie said, sometimes it's just as easy just to buy it instead of trying to make it and all that. But for simple, low profile clamps or something, these are a good system. And if I didn't have the Matchfit dovetail and I only had T tracks and all that stuff, I could switch out the bolt for a T nut, right? You know what I mean? And but this little accessory right there, simple enough, and all that, and slick little kit. So that's it, Jared. That's all I wanted to show you on that one. But the dovetail is 14 degree. It's got those roundovers. That's what makes it special. That's what makes it what it is. Anybody can go buy a 14 degree roundover bit, probably a lot cheaper than $30 on Amazon and stuff. But those roundovers really, that's what makes the jig really where it slides and nothing gets hung up. There's no on those inside corners at the bottom and on the top, so there's no hang-ups, and all your tools just slide really nicely.
And if you don't have to double cut.
No, and that's yeah. Sorry, that was your initial question about do I need to use a clearance tool and everything? No, it's a single cut. You draw the line. You on your jigs and your Vectric software. I want a jig that holds this. You just draw the lines, and it's a profile cut on the line. Set your cut depth, and Now, here's the thing. If your CNC, it all comes down to strength and rigidity of the CNC, right? So if your CNC is a smaller CNC and it's not really, rigid and everything to where it can't do a full 3/8 inch plunge, then sure, you can take a 1/4 inch bit and run those lines to full depth, full 3/8. You can do passes if you need to, 1/8 inch per pass, but you can do a clearance and then run that V bit. You can do a tool change and run that V bit, absolutely. But if you're like on your 48, JR, your full depth, JR, full depth, single pass for sure. You don't want to make multiple passes. On that, you got to make one pass. It's got to go to the full depth, and it's got to plunge on the outside of the jig, cut in, and exit on the outside. It can't exit in the middle unless you have a entry hole or something like that. And that's another thing, ladies and gentlemen. On that note. On their jigs, let me find one where it's actually on Matchfit CNC waste board. Matchfit CNC waste board. Notice on the waste board. That's a small little thumbnail. Let me see if I can find a bigger photo. That's also a thumbnail. Come on there, boys and girls. All right, we'll try this one. Notice it's hard. Oh, you're not seeing anything. All right, it's a very small photo. Yeah, very small photo. Hold on, let me see if I can find a better photo. Come on, you boys and girls. All right, let's visit. Zoom in. Okay. If you can see their entry holes, there we go. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Their entry holes, you see how wide and oblong they are and everything versus, just a kind of a round hole. It's so the clamps, if you are using those T-tracks and also you can get them in because they're quite long and all that stuff. So their openings don't run all the way to the end of the MDF, which gives it that strength that Kurt H was. No, was it Kurt H that was talking about, or was it Rob? About the warping and stuff. By not going all the way to the ends and everything, causing that weakness, you still have that solid 3/4 inch thickness all the way around. You just got to make your entry and exit slots long enough that you can get your little T-nuts and all that stuff in. And so they're oblong. They're not just round, Okie dokie, tokie dokie. All right. That's it. Enough of that. All right, boys and girls. Well, I look forward to seeing some emails with some class topics. Ronnie, JR, thanks for your input on the things. We'll definitely talk about laser. We'll definitely do some more SketchUp stuff and designing. And if there's a particular project on SketchUp that somebody would like to build, maybe a group project, if we want to come up with something or whatever, let me know. We'll make it happen.
What you got there, Ronnie?
I need to build one of these.
Oh, okay. What is that?
Well,
it looks like a push stick to me. What is that?
It holds you slide the magazine of the pistol.
Yes. Oh man, so yeah.
But it's got this like chamfer here, and I thought, well, I just put it on the table saw and rip that. But then I'm thinking, they want, if you want your name or something on here, it almost feels like it needs to be like a 3D model or something. So
sure. The base would be one part, and then there'd be a pocket like a mortise and tenon where that upright that the clip goes in.
Yes.
The clip that would sit inside. Now, are you wanting to make this out of wood, or are you going to be making it out of acrylic? Wood.
No, wood.
Oh yeah, we can design that up, right? Yeah, we can design that up for sure. All you need is a handy dandy little caliper or a tape measure. with that part right there, and we can design it on the fly in SketchUp for sure.
Yeah, I figured that'd be something fun.
That would be awesome. And that's a cool little thing. That's a neat little display. Didn't even think about something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you see how that acrylic, how it's two parts, right? The clip part,
Right.
It's got two screws holding it in. Very similar. So there's no 3D necessarily required for that. Now, if you wanted to make
What
you
about
have
this
to have a very
profile
thick
here?
piece of wood. No, that's the Vectric chamfer toolpath.
Ah, okay. And then
Yeah.
then you can
And it
come
uses
back
a
in
ball nose bit instead of a V bit to do that that long chamfer. It uses a ball nose bit to create that long chamfer instead of a V bit. You know, it's not like a 60 or a 90 and everything. It actually uses a ball nose to do that chamfer. So when we're just real quick to do a screen share in the Aspire software, when you're using the let's pretend for a minute that, come on now, zoom in here. Let me draw a line. Let's pretend that this is that upper line, you know, that edge and everything. That chamfer toolpath, when you are using anything other than a V-bit, you know, because you can use here, you can use your ball nose bits, you can use V-bits and everything, all are acceptable. And with the ball nose bit, you have the freedom to make changes on that width and angle. When you're using a specific V-bit, let's say I'm using a 45-degree V-bit, then that locks me in. You see that 22. Oh, I lost Ronnie. Hold on a second. I'm getting you back there, Ronnie. Hold on. You still there, Ronnie?
There I am.
Yep.
Okay.
So lost you right when I was talking about the angle. If you're using a specific V-bit, like this 45, it locks in that angle, that 22.5 degrees, right? And so now I only have one area that I can change. And when I change the width, let's say I make this 3/8, it changes the depth, right? You know, because it's forced on that angle. But when I'm using a tapered ball nose or a ball nose, oh, I lost Ronnie again.
Maybe it's my connection here. It's saying, "Oops, lost the connection."
I got you back now. Let me go back to the ball nose. Ball nose, where you at? Right here. So with the ball nose, now I can change. I can change that angle. So let's say that angle was a 10-degree angle, right? And it was spanning over, you know,
About an inch and a quarter.
Yeah, an inch and a quarter and everything. It's going to be a different than a 10 degree. It's not going to be a 10-degree angle, but the 78-degree angle or whatever it is, you know, we have to find that from 90 what it is. But you know, that's going to be a little about a quarter inch from the top level to the bottom level, be a quarter inch decline, right? That kind of thing. So it's a ball nose that makes it, and it does a nice. It's a 3D cut and everything, but it produces that that toolpath and everything for that cut. And I don't know what this will look like, but it over here, I don't know what all that is. My step over is not right for that bit, but it produces that nice angle, and we can definitely work on that for sure.
Yeah,
we can work on that, and we can work on it in SketchUp too to draw it out. All of that. Yeah.
Right on.
Ignore that big old step down that you saw there. That's not proper. That's what happens when you set something up on the fly. All right.
Yeah, right on.
Did you ever get the Celtic weave figured out, Kurt? No, I haven't gotten any feedback or not feedback answers back on Vectric on the Celtic weave yet. Now, Doug Fushi, the bread box, the design and everything is done. I literally just have to make it. I have not made it yet. I got to make it. And you're not the only one asking me about the bread box. I have someone else that lives in the house asking me where the bread box is. It was supposed to be made, 3 or 4 weeks ago. So that's something that I'm definitely going to be making. But the design is all done and everything, and all the tool paths and stuff. So I don't have a show and tell on the bread box yet, Doug, but I will, promise you. And the Celtic Weave, I'll follow up with Vetch again, but they haven't gotten back to me on that one yet. So not sure. If y'all remember, we tried to do a Celtic Weave, and some of it wasn't working out quite well, and we ended up having to make the one part that worked, and then copy that part around to create the other 3 parts and everything, because it wouldn't create it just from the vectors that we're drawing. So Vetric's got to explain to me why that's the case, and I don't have an answer on that one yet, Kurt. All right. Well, listen, we are at an hour and 45 minutes here. We've talked. It was more discussion than design or anything. We've done that for the last 2 classes. Next week we will be designing something. I don't know exactly what it is yet, but Ronnie, if you want it to be that, we can definitely do a SketchUp class on that and design in Vetric for you. That would be cool. And
I'll get measurements and everything put together on it.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And then that one would be a fun one to do. And then we could do, some other stuff. The guys and girls, please email me once again. I'll throw that email up as I'm saying goodbye and stuff. But, email me with some ideas on what you want to learn in class. What do you want to learn? Because some of, I don't know exactly. I literally type in CNC projects. There's just so many that it's like, what do y'all want to learn? And I even turned to AI, and let's see here. What did let's see here. Was it this AI? Understanding, engaging, customizing, follow-up. It wasn't this, but my AI, let me start a new old topic with old AI here. This is ChatGPT. Say hello anyway. I'll show you here. This is what I end up having to do sometimes. So on ChatGPT, I come in here and say, provide me with a class topic for CNC beginners and intermediate skill levels. And ChatGPT will crank out some topics such as fundamentals of advanced techniques of CNC machining, understanding, introduction to G code and M code, which is always an interesting class, basic programming techniques, commands, setting up a CNC machine, safety procedures, all the cookie cutter stuff, techniques for optimizing G code. If any of this stuff sounds anything interesting, but the techniques for improving precision of cuts, that's a good class. But so really, these are all like fundamental type classes, right? And that's good classes to learn. They're not really project based, but they are, I guess, and technically they can be project based and all. But if there's anything that you want to learn or anything that you would like to know, let me know, because ChatGPT gives me some ideas, but it doesn't really give me some ideas, right? So, all right, everybody. Y'all have a wonderful evening. JR, Ronnie, thanks for everything. We'll catch you later.
All right. Thanks, Laney.
See you.
Take care.
See you next week. We'll be on time next week now, 8 o'clock, and I'll have meeting links and all that before then. See you.
Roger that. Thanks again.
Bye. Yes, sir.
Bye.